Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for an unexpected, unscheduled edition of Andy the Gabby Cabby, right from the garage. I wasn't actually intending on doing anything else today, but this piece of news come across my desk into my inbox, and I thought, what the hell's going on? I didn't know whether to do a video tomorrow and bring it to you then, or bring it to you right now. I know others have already covered this. I was having my dinner at the time, actually, when it came in, but I couldn't believe it. You know, got a video earlier on that came out about Yvette Cooper where she stood in front of that Labour conference and mouthed off quite passionately so about justice, about all sorts of things, how she sees it. And she missed out an awful lot of stuff, an awful lot of our concerns about what is actually going on in this country of ours. So really, as it says in my earlier video, missed the point. One of the big mistakes that I feel this government makes or is making, and to be quite honest, successive governments before them, is their inability to enforce the law effectively and throw these bastards inside for a long time where they belong, particularly those guilty of the more heinous crimes. So when I read that they have some kind of early release scheme and people are being released having served not all of their sentence, it gives me pause, as I'm sure it will give you pause as well. Well, what's happened and what's come out in the news, and I thank Julie for sending me this link earlier, and also Johnny as well, who emailed me it as a backup. At least 40 of the people that have been released, I think there's actually 37, should never have been released. It was a mistake. So could you imagine that? Potentially dangerous criminals on our street, and they should never have been there. Well, apparently they've managed to get, I think, 5 of them back, but it still leaves the majority of them AWOL, gone, kaput. Let's have a look through this, and then we'll see what some of you have to say about it. Before I bring up the article, I just want to say welcome, everybody. There's nearly 180 in the chat already. Not bad, considering this is very short notice. Please give it the thumbs up, because it helps spread this around. And also, if you haven't done so already, and you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join everybody else. I think we're at nearly 103,000 subscribers, so very much appreciate the support. Anyway, here goes. Oh, Johnny, they come thick and fast. Starmer released the wrong sausages. He sent me a few funnies earlier, and I found the page he gets them from. Anyway, dozens of prisoners let out of jail early were released by mistake in massive Ministry of Justice blunder. Blunder, when you're talking about prisoners. What on earth? 40 people were let out of prison by mistake under the controversial early release scheme the Ministry of Justice has admitted. One Ministry of Justice source said some 37 criminals were released erroneously on September the 10th because their offences had been recorded incorrectly under a now repealed legislation. At the end of the day, if they go into prison for something they've been convicted of doing wrong, a criminal offence, surely it's a criminal offence. Leave them in the bloody cells. I mean, it was all to do with overcrowding, wasn't it? We can't fit any more criminals in. We have people in there that shouldn't be in there because, quite frankly, the crimes they've been convicted of are pathetic. We've got people in there that should be in there, but should be in another prison in another land somewhere. And, you know, there's no teeth in the law anymore, is there? No one is scared of the law, committing crimes, doing things, and there's no prevention, no deterrent. I take this very seriously, and I get quite antsy about it because of the history of law enforcement in my family. My father, particularly, he was a police officer for nigh on 30 years. It's really, it sticks in the throat. Anyway, let's have a look at some more of this. We'll come to your comments. Non-repealed legislation, you know, a crime's a crime. What's was repealed. As a result, the cases were not flagged for exemptions, meant to stop criminals guilty of certain offences from being released. 5 of them are still on the loose, but most have been brought back into custody. They say, okay, right. I got that the wrong way around. So 5 of them are still on the loose, but we were told with this early release scheme that those that are guilty of the most heinous of crimes will not be eligible for the early release scheme. So why were these people released in the first place? And this is just 40 we know about. Was there any others maybe? Who knows? But it just shows what a soft, unbelievable, out of touch nonsense we've got here. Let's have a look at the last bit of this and then we'll see what you have to say about it. Right. We've got a Ministry of Justice spokesman said public safety is our first priority. Could have bloody fooled me. You just let 40 prisoners go by mistake. That is why we took decisive action to fix the broken prison system we inherited. You didn't inherit anything. The prison system was there. They probably inherited it in a broken state off of you the time before. And keep the most dangerous offenders locked up. This included blocking the early release of domestic abuse offences such as stalking and controlling behaviour. Yeah, that's another story for another time. We're working with the police to urgently return a very small number of offenders who were charged incorrectly and sentenced under repealed legislation to custody. What is this repealed legislation? You get convicted of a crime, you go to prison. The convictions remain valid with offenders monitored since their release and will soon be back behind bars. There's somebody walking out just there, working with police. Some 1,700 criminals have been handed their freedom early, and they took the piss, didn't they? You saw some of them celebrating, saying we're going to vote Labour from now on. It was controversial, which we know about. The Ministry of Justice said the crisis has effectively pushed British prisons to the point of collapse. A new Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood's solution was to temporarily slash the amount of time inmates must spend their sentence in jail by a fifth. And despite today's news of the blunder, a similar number are set to be released next month. So despite a failed system, they're letting these people out. Back in August, when the government announced the scheme would be implemented, the PM's handpicked prisons and probation minister, Lord Timpson, called the move difficult but necessary. He said, we inherited a justice system in crisis and exposed to shocks. As a result, we've been forced into making difficult but necessary decisions to keep it operating. However, thanks to the hard work of our dedicated staff and partners, we brought forward additional prison places and now introduced Operation Early Dawn to manage the pressure felt in some parts of the country. The problem is, if you let prisoners out, I'm not saying all of them will be like it. I'm tarring some of them with the same brush, granted. But if you let prisoners out, some of them are just going to reoffend, and then they'll end up back in the clink. We've already seen examples of this. And then others are let out, they're bailed to an address they can't even bloody reach. You don't hear that in the news, by the way. I heard that on the grapevine through an ex-copper friend of mine. They breach it immediately, and then they're thrown back in the clink. Yes, prison is a place where they go when they're imprisoned, but it has to be a place they're fearful of, that they don't want to go back to, or they're fearful of going there in the first place. So this is where you get crime, the enforcement of the law, to make it very clear that if you do this and you were caught for this, then there will be circumstances you are not going to like. Oh, we're going square meals a day, nice treatment, everything else. What a joke. There's a thing here. Where are we? Daisy. That's the name of my hamster. Sorry, but that made it tickled me. Sorry. I've just been talking to a Daisy in my house. Hi, Andy. My partner is a prison officer going on 20 years. The prisons are understaffed hugely. They're not overcrowded. Yeah, I can sympathize with that. I've heard that before, where you've got like loads of criminals, haven't you? and you haven't got a safe number of prison officers to deal with them effectively. You're putting yourself at risk every time you go in there. There's a friend of mine that was a prison officer, and he's moved back here near my local area, and he now drives buses. It's a recruitment problem. Paz, my friend Paz 49, he was a prison officer, and if you go and hear some of his experiences, you'll see that this rot set in a long time previously. It really is a joke, all of it. Now, a long time ago, another generation of police officer ago, they were saying that if you do certain things with the law, years down the line, it's going to bite you in the backside. And all these progressive types that thought, oh, we know what we're doing, they fucked it up totally. They really have. It's a joke. You get lots of little toe rags going around the streets, smashing windows, being a pain, calling names. Oh, we can get away with that. There's no police officers around. So then it kind of elevates to another level, doesn't it? And then they do a few more things, and then it elevates again, and then you've got a whole generation of career, and then you've got all of those that are coming in from here, there, and everywhere else, and then it's a bloody nuisance. And I've listened to some of the sentencing. You can get some stuff online for different crimes that people have committed. It's no good. It really is no good. Anyway, let's have a look at some of your comments. This is a big part of these lives. I do lives every Sunday because I want to, talk to you, hear what you've got to say and interact. But also with live streams, they're very handy to just bring you something now live, and then you can tell me what you think, and then we can interact with each other. It makes it powerful. I like that. Right, Diane. Hello, Diane. There is a saying that career criminals use: 3 meals a day and now to pay. It's easier for some to be inside. Totally. I get that. I've seen pictures of prison cells recently, and they look luxury compared with years ago. One of the most eye-opening places I ever went to in my life was Robben Island. And for anybody that doesn't know, Robben Island is literally off the coast of Cape Town, and it's got a prison on there where Nelson Mandela and other prisoners were kept. And I went there, and I stood in the cell where they kept Nelson Mandela, and it was a very tiny place, very cold brick walls. There were bars on the window, and you could barely see anything out of it. A really tiny bed, a piss bucket basically, and very horrible conditions. And they had around the grounds as well the way they used to deal with and keep prisoners from way back then. And yeah, it wasn't good. You didn't want to be a prisoner in South Africa. That Preston journalist, hello mate, good to see you. Anyone that hasn't done so, please consider going and subscribing to that Preston journalist. He's doing well, and his channel's growing. It's nice to see. Things couldn't get any worse. Starmer is on borrowed time already, and I agree. All of the stuff that's coming out, the freebies, the slips about sausages, stuff about justice, the winter fuel pay, it's all coming out, isn't it? Negu Mum, sorry, was watching video about Maddie Mir. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that here, but I have seen a few things come out today. Her name was trending on social media, so I was going to have a look what that was about. Stuart, don't say that. The Starmer idiots wanted to swap PIP payments to vouchers. How's that going to help those who are disabled? Yeah, you can't go to a shop and redeem them easily, can you? We've heard the vouchers thing before. So it's not great. Let's have a few more comments. See what people are saying. Big wieners floppy. Sausages, huh? It's all about sausages by the sound of it. Oh, really? Why did Labour have a party political broadcast on TV tonight? They've won the election. I didn't know they had a party political broadcast. There you go. Clive Buckle, today prisons are like university for a degree in advanced crime. Yeah, totally. I know somebody that went to prison for something. I'm not going to say who they were, but many, many years ago, I'm going back now. And they come out, they said, I'm not going back there. And they, straightened him out. I think there's a case of he wasn't free to do what he wanted. And, that was taken away from him. But, it's not really what it was. Stuart Hawes, still waiting on those people from Manchester. Yeah, very, very valid point there. You had that initial video of them getting booted in the head, and then it all went quiet. And then we got the video of the other side of the story. Still nobody's been charged. And then they're trying to find out who leaked that to the press because they might want to charge them. This is another example of why everything's gone to shit. That's great. Right, that's the prison officer one. Yeah, we covered that. And again, I totally agree with you. It's a mess. Sharon, hello to you. A bit late, but you are here. That's the main thing. Where is this other comment I saw? That's good. We can announce this if I can find it. Oh, yes, here we are. Yeah, Paul Thorpe on Sunday night. Yes, at 9:00 on Sunday, when I do my usual live, I will not be here. I will be over on Paul Thorpe's channel. I've been swapping some WhatsApp messages with him today, just arranging some stuff. And we're going to be doing a couple of things. But on Sunday, this Sunday coming at 9:00, hop over to his channel and I will be live with him, Paul Thorpe. And that'll be a great one. I look forward to it. I'll put a link for it here. Julie Keys, this is unacceptable. But then everything Starmer's done so far is you couldn't make it up. No, you couldn't. You really couldn't. Paul Young, when we practice to deceive, what a sausage casserole we achieve. I like sausage casseroles. Mike Reform, for those that don't want to wait, Maya Tuesday's already covered this story. Yes, he did. I noticed that while I was waiting to come live. He's really quick off the mark with all the stuff. Maya does good work. And, really good work and covers lots of stuff. Michael Hancock, and never known so much ineptitude in government. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's one disaster after another with this lot. If you translated it to a business environment and put them in our world, a lot of them would be fired for gross misconduct within, no time at all, really. Dino in the tube, it's a joke, this country, just like its so-called leader. Looking like that. It's not a subject of this video, but we need to really think about what we're doing. Starmer released the wrong sausages, yes. Thank you for that. Julie, they got 32 of them. There's 5 missing. I got that the wrong way around. A couple more. Where are we? Yeah, beyond insanity. Absolutely. And the last one, it just goes to prove exactly how this government has become pretty total crap, basically. And are we surprised at that? Well, folks, thank you ever so much for joining me at such short notice. I just wanted to bring that to you. I was sitting there, then I had this little admin group where I've got my mods in, and they send me stuff. And I read this, and I thought, you what? I mean, I was enraged enough as it is that this policy was introduced in the first place. But to cock it up so spectacularly, I thought, nah, I need to talk about this. So here we are. And as I said, one of these lives like this is a very good way of doing just that. It's brilliant. I'll be back tomorrow with more content, probably videos. And if anything live comes up, I'll do that. Thank you ever so much, all of you, for your support. I really appreciate it. Always hit the like button. Give the thing the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm push my stuff around everywhere. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, if you're new here. I appreciate everyone's support. I really do. The subscribers and also the channel members too. Share me on your social media. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.